Everyone loves a great wrestling debut. That jolt of surprise, the roar of the crowd, the moment you realize a new player has just entered the game. But what about a debut that was supposedly dead on arrival, a career that gossip said was over before it ever really started? For years, that was the story whispered about Arissa LeBrock. As the daughter of Hollywood action legend Steven Seagal and supermodel icon Kelly LeBrock, she was a ghost in the wrestling world. A cautionary tale of a legacy prospect who just couldn't make the cut. The internet said she failed. The forum said she was banned. The narrative was basically set in stone, but they were all wrong. The story you've been sold is a fabrication. The truth is a far more gripping story of resilience against a backdrop of crushing expectations and a brutal, career-threatening injury that almost no one knew about. This is the real story of how Steven Seagal's daughter, against all odds, fought her way back from the brink to pull off one of the most stunning arrivals in modern wrestling history. Picture the scene. Monday Night Raw, the chaotic night after a huge pay-per-view. The newly crowned women's champion is in the ring, soaking in the glory and throwing out an open challenge to anyone in the back with the guts to face her. The crowd is expecting a familiar theme song, maybe a returning legend or a surprise call-up from NXT. Instead, the arena goes dark. A single pulsing bass line starts to throb through the building. It's a sound nobody recognizes. Then, a spotlight slices through the smoke at the top of the entrance ramp. A figure emerges, radiating an unnerving calm. It's Arissa LeBrock. The commentators are stunned into silence, frantically flipping through their notes. On the screen, the graphic confirms her name, and a wave of confusion and noise washes over the audience. You can hear boos from fans who only know the rumors of her failure, but you also hear chants of intrigue from people realizing they're witnessing the impossible. She walks to the ring not with the swagger of a rookie, but with the focused intensity of a predator, her eyes locked on the champion. She has that same quiet, cold intensity that was her father's trademark on screen. Arissa steps through the ropes, never breaking eye contact. She doesn't grab a mic. She doesn't play to the crowd. The champ, totally bewildered, shoves her. In response, Arissa moves with blinding speed, using a seamless Aikido-inspired throw to put the champion on her back before sinking in a legitimate-looking armbar. The champion taps frantically, not in a match but out of pure survival instinct. Arissa releases the hold, stands over her, and walks away without a single word. The message was sent. This wasn't some celebrity's kid playing wrestler. This was a legitimate threat. And her arrival wasn't an invitation for a match. It was a declaration of war. So how did we get to this shocking moment? For years, the story making the rounds on social media and wrestling forums was the complete opposite. The narrative was simple and brutal. Arissa LeBrock got her shot at WWE and blew it. Just another legacy kid who couldn't handle the pressure. This story was easy to believe because the wrestling world is littered with the children of legends who couldn't escape their parents' shadow. The pressure is immense. Every single move is scrutinized. Every success is chalked up to nepotism, and every failure gets magnified 1,000 times. The internet claimed Arissa was handed a golden ticket back in 2019 and was quietly shown the door when she just wasn't ready for prime time. Some rumors even spun wild tales that she was banned after a disastrous tryout. Her total silence in the years that followed was seen as proof. In the echo chamber of online fandom, no news is often twisted into bad news. The myth kept growing until it became accepted as fact. Arissa LeBrock was a failed experiment, a footnote in WWE's long history of legacy tryouts. But that myth, that entire narrative, was built on a lie. The truth is far more tragic and way more inspiring. In December 2019, Arissa LeBrock was invited to a notoriously grueling multi-day tryout at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando. This wasn't a photo op. It's a crucible designed to push the world's most elite athletes to their absolute breaking point. With a legitimate background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Arissa wasn't just a model with a famous last name. She was a fighter, ready to prove she belonged. And then, disaster struck. During one of the high-stakes training drills, she suffered a severe career-threatening injury. While the exact details were kept private, it was the kind of setback that ends careers before they even have a chance to start. In a single moment, the dream was shattered. A WWE contract was off the table, the momentum was gone, and all the buzz surrounding her name came to a screeching halt. Her disappearance from the wrestling scene wasn't because she quit or was fired. She was broken. The silence that fueled all those rumors of her failure was actually a period of intense pain, a difficult recovery, and a deep personal struggle. She later admitted to falling into one of the darkest places of her life, a place where it felt like her story was already over. This journey, from a career-ending injury all the way back to the ring, is one of the most powerful comeback stories in wrestling today. Before we get into how she rebuilt herself from the ground up, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Your support is what allows us to keep digging deep into the real stories behind the wrestling headlines. A dream put on hold can either destroy you or forge you into something stronger. For Arissa LeBrock, her time away became a period of rebirth, and it was all thanks to a phone call from a man who understands legacy, pressure, and reinvention better than almost anyone: Dustin Rhodes. Dustin, son of the legendary American Dream Dusty Rhodes and known to millions as the iconic Goldust, saw past the injury and the rumors. He saw an athlete with untapped potential and offered her a lifeline: move to Austin, Texas, and train at his Rhodes Wrestling Academy. This wasn't a shortcut back to the spotlight. It was an invitation to learn the craft from the ground up. Arissa accepted, trading the glamour of California for the gritty, old-school grind of a true wrestling dojo. There, she wasn't a celebrity's daughter. She was just another student. She spent months rebuilding her body and her confidence, learning how to blend her legitimate BJJ skills with the unique psychology and showmanship of professional wrestling. Dustin was blown away by her work ethic, later saying in an interview, "She's doing a great job, but this is only the beginning for her." Pretty soon the whole world's going to be talking about Arissa LeBrock. After months of that grueling work, her moment of truth came. In March 2023, Arissa LeBrock made her official in-ring debut, not in a massive arena, but at a student showcase for the Rhodes Wrestling Academy. In front of a small, passionate Texas crowd, she proved that her comeback was real. Reports from that debut described her performance as powerful, dominant, and brutally efficient, showcasing a style built entirely on her martial arts foundation. This was the first, definitive proof that she had transformed from an injured prospect into a formidable professional wrestler. That intimate debut in Texas sent some small ripples through the wrestling world, but it was kept largely under the radar. This is what allowed for the masterstroke of her eventual WWE arrival. While wrestling forums were still debating her failed tryout from years ago, a new plan was secretly put into motion. WWE officials, who almost certainly caught wind of her incredible progress under Dustin Rhodes, saw an opportunity for one of the most genuinely surprising debuts in years. They let the false narrative fester. They allowed the internet to believe she was gone for good. And by doing so, they amplified the shock value of her appearance on Raw tenfold. Her arrival wasn't just a debut, it was the public shattering of a myth that had been building for years. It was a story of redemption playing out in real time, right in front of millions. The final twist wasn't that she came back. It was that her silence was the key to making that comeback unforgettable. Arissa LeBrock's journey is so much more than just a debut. It's a powerful lesson in resilience. She was born into the shadow of two icons, a place where online critics had already pre-written her failure after a devastating injury nearly ended her dream. But she refused to be a footnote. She didn't use her famous name to get a handout. She used a second chance from a legend to rebuild herself from scratch, earning her spot through pain, sweat, and silence. Her shocking arrival in WWE was the culmination of that quiet 4-year battle. The whispers of failure have been completely silenced, replaced by the roar of a surprised and captivated audience. She proved that legacy isn't what you're given, it's what you build. Her story is no longer about what if, it's all about what's next. But what do you think? Now that you know the true story behind her comeback, do you believe Arissa LeBrock has what it takes to be a future champion? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more untold stories from the world of wrestling.